morning, guys. This is Stephen Howard. My dog Yucca. Yucca, say hello. We're driving through the Virgin River Canyon. Went through a bunch of rainstorms last night. I guess I smoked the sativa pen because I was up till 2 in the morning driving through the rain with no windshield wipers. I got used to it pretty good. My motor on my windshield wipers went out. Anyway, Yucca and I have had quite a trip, but we woke up to a beautiful morning, bright blue skies, desert, really beautiful. The desert has kind of a dead or stoic quality to it. I think of my buddy Kelly's favorite song by America, Horse with No Name. But yeah, I got that America song going through my head. 'Cause in the desert there ain't no one for to give you no pain. La 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 la. Well, today I woke up like I felt kind of like hungover, so I wasn't really awake, but first call I got was ex-wife headed to work, and it was pretty funny. We're laughing over like really painful stuff. Like, I'll give you a for instance. One time we went snowboarding in Utah with a friend, and I wanted to smoke a cigarette, so I didn't ride the chair up that time. The other times I had been riding right next to her on the chair. If she fell over, I could like push her back up. Well, this time I wasn't there. And so they got off the chair in front of me. He fell over onto her and dislocated her elbow in 2 places really bad. So, of course, with ski patrol, we're at the top of the mountain. She has to go down in the sled with a dislocated elbow. It's really painful. Had to drive all the way to Cedar City to get it put back in. And she comes out of the hospital just giddy, and I'm like, what are you so happy about? And I guess the doctor that put her elbow back in was super hot. Probably a Mormon doctor, all clean cut and stuff. You women, man. Anyway, I'm headed to Las Vegas. I've made a lot of amends. I'm not going backwards. I'm definitely on a forward trajectory here. A lot of things have happened, and heartbreak, and if you go through the videos, this is kind of like a moment of, last night I went through the never never. So sometimes you have to go through not knowing exactly where you're going. I mean, I knew where I was going, but no windshield wipers in the rain, in the dark, going 60 miles an hour, hauling a trailer is not necessarily the safest thing. But I have hundreds of thousands of miles of driving. I have been in a few accidents, not my fault, but I'm definitely a good driver, especially cross country or long distance. Maybe that's what I should do for a living. It's hard on your back, though. Anyway, we're in the Virgin River now. I just wanted to show you. When you drive through here, it reminds me of like the Canyon of the Crescent Moon in Raiders of the Lost Ark or something. I think it's Last Crusade. The Canyon of the Crescent Moon. See a lot of mountain goats here, mountain sheep, and they have those big ram racks. So as I'm driving through this canyon, and I was talking about the Never Never, there's a movie called Australia. It's with Nicole Kidman, I believe, and it's a beautiful movie. It's pretty sad. There's some sad parts to that movie. It also has the guy that I'm forgetting his name that played Wolverine. I'll think of it when we're not filming. But Vegas has a lot of things that I don't really realize that I need to be close to. A lot of Hollywood moved to Las Vegas for filming and production. So there's a bunch of casting agencies. There's a bunch of parts to read for right in Las Vegas. So I'm going to start working on getting a local agent again. I was with Red Models at Las Vegas when I got my billboard. So I'm hoping to get back with them. I'm hoping to continue with the movie, and then I've got a television series and also a show. So I have to figure out how to design a television show. As I'm coming down here, I have a lot of big hopes, high hopes for a living. And don't panic in the disco. But now I'm starting to channel. I'm by the river. It's beautiful, but kind of dirty. So as I'm going through the canyon here, I'm starting to channel. I'm starting to feel that whatever this longing inside, like whatever your internal dream is, your little kid dream, like, are you going to be up on stage singing, or are you going to be in the helicopter getting ready to pick somebody up from battle? What? Now that you're an adult and you've had 187 jobs and they were all dead ends, but they gave you enough training to do this job, what are you going to do now? What's the end goal? Why are you pushing yourself so hard already? Well, Sagittarius have this habit of, and other signs do too, of being a workaholic, of maybe focusing on the right thing at the wrong time, popping out of the canyon. I think if you stare hard enough, you can see the curvature of the earth. In the desert, it seems like that. I think what I'm trying to say is, whatever your goal in life, whatever your destiny, do that shit. Don't hold back anymore. If you're if your dream is to have a record store while they're all going out of business, do that shit. You'll be the only one to have CDs and tapes and records. And I still have a tape deck. So I can either store my cell phone in there or I can play a tape. I really think that we all need to go back to basics. Like some of you kids will see this and you'll be like, what's he talking about? But back in the 80s, I'll give you an example. Back in the 80s, I could pack up a backpack on a Saturday full of climbing and camping gear, make my friend carry half of it, and we could both go stand out on the highway and hitchhike. We were like 13 years old. We could hitchhike, and the people that pick us up weren't pedophiles or weren't doing any harm to us. They'd pick us up and they'd talk to us and probably be listening to John Denver and smoking a joint in an old pickup truck. They'd drive 25 miles out of their way to drop you at the spot that you wanted to go. And it was cool. People cared about each other. If I was stopped on the side of the road, the very first car that would come down the road would stop or roll down their window and ask if I was okay or if I needed anything. It was more like what I just left in Montana. It's really weird. As soon as you cross through Salt Lake City, Utah, people start driving 80, 90 miles an hour, cutting you off. They don't give a shit how close they get to you. It's really scary. It feels like if you were dying on the side of the highway, no one would give a shit. And that's bizarre to me. I'm really worried when I get down here to Vegas, People look at me like I'm strange when I talk to them when I'm waiting for coffee at Starbucks, or I talk to the barista. Everybody's acting like, oh, why aren't you looking in your phone? Well, we have phone disease. I mean, look at me now. I'm staring at my phone, talking at my phone, filming on my phone. Just passing the Virgin River Canyon again. I'm coming down into Littlefield and then Mesquite and then Overton. Last night it was pitch black, but I know I went through some beautiful country. I'm sorry I missed it. But I'm glad I got most of this drive over with because I had a lot of energy last night. A lot of worries and concerns, and then that's a good one. So when you're worried and concerned, how do you transfer that shit into positive motivation? For me, the thought process is it's kind of like a pros and cons list. Your cons are all the bad things that could happen, or that voice in your head that says, this is never going to work, you're not going to do it, how's that possible, you're not going to prove everybody wrong, you're going to prove everybody right, you're a loser. And that inner voice is so negative that, like, if you're gullible like me, you'll be like, yeah, voice, I'm never gonna make it. Boo-hoo. But if you have a positive voice and you're really thinking about it, that negative voice is so negative that it can't be possible. Not that much negative can happen at one time. You're all, oh, yes, it can. Well, yeah, negative things can happen in your life, but they always happen for healing and a positive reason. So, where was I? I think it's kind of like a comedian. You know that guy with the real stale sense of humor and he's fully deadpan, but his joke was like hella funny? Stephen Wright, I think is his name. I love that guy. He was the dude on the couch in Half Baked. So, um, it's almost like your negative voice, you have to be like, oh, hi, negative voice. You're back again. Ha ha. That's cool. That's cool. So, whenever you're fighting with somebody, ex-wife used to do this. If you're fighting with somebody and they say something to you, all you have to do is look back at them with a really sarcastic look and be like, that's cool. Sure. Because as you go by in your ship of right, and I'm all down here drowning in my sea of wrong, well, tell that negative voice to go fuck itself. Because we got shit to do. We got to stay positive, man. Because if you listen to that negative voice, then the first negative thing that comes up, first little negative thing that comes up, you start to paint a house, and the first thing you do is kick over the bucket and spill the paint. And like my buddy Bill, you could just be like, you could even take the Lord's name in vain. God darn it, It'd be so much easier to go, oh man, I gotta pick that up now. Good lesson. Ha. You got one on me. And just start painting again. Because it's not worth it. Every little thing that happens and goes wrong. I get a flat tire right now. I'm not going to go cursing the world. I'm going to go work on changing the tire, and maybe it prevented me from a really bad accident that was happening down here. So, if you ever saw Final Destination, so that was an interesting channel. So yeah, I grew up in Tahoe in the 80s. Things were simple. People cared about each other. People stopped for each other. Even if you didn't know one another, complete stranger, side of the highway, changing a tire, you stop and help them. Yeah. Let's start doing something out of love, out of care. Let's go to our job today, and without sounding weird or making everybody at work uncomfortable, let everybody know how much you care and appreciate them. You can say it in a certain way without coming off all sexual harassment or whatever. You could be like, I really like the way you typed that memo. No, I'm just joking. You could be like, I really appreciate having you as a coworker. It makes my job so much easier to have people like you at work. That's a good compliment. You're not going to get arrested or sued, Or, boss, you're the most awesome boss because, you helped me when things were at their worst, and I just want you to know, you know, I appreciate everything that you've done for me, and I plan on working extra hard to do that without sounding like a suck up or you're trying to get a raise. But I'm pretty tired still. I'll probably take a nap later today at some point. Vegas is go, go, go. So me and Yucca are in Montana time, where I imagine going to be pretty tired. You know, it's really weird. The Canadian geese were flying north. It's January, but they were flying north this morning. So I think we're going to have an early spring and summer. Probably going to be hotter than hell down here. But I will keep you posted. I'm coming into Nevada right now, into Mesquite. I'm looking forward to a dirt bike and a supermodel soulmate. No, I'm just joking. Purple Lamborghini. Some linguine with clam sauce and food so good you feel like you're going to get whacked. Maybe a white Mercedes will show up right at the last moment when you aren't expecting it. Here I come into Nevada, Clark County line. And I'm in Mesquite. You know what that means, right? Weed's recreational, bro. Well, have a good day. Say bye, Yucca. Bye, Yucca. She has her pink sweater vest on today. Raincoat. All fashionable. Gotta get her nails done. Mani-pedi. Alright, guys. Mesquite's a beautiful place to live also. Have a great day. Mahalo.